Hey everyone, Sawmill Charlie. Well, welcome to another Friday Night Beat Chat. Hey Keith and Jeremy, and hey Russell, Clay, hey Rob, and we got Mike and Danny, and we got my other part of my chat that finally popped up. So let's see if we can get everything hooked in. All right. We'll drop the link here in a minute. Hey, Randy, Russell. Let's see. All right, what's going on? Hey, Bill. Did you get
Hey, how's it going?
All right, I'm trying to get this. What's the unpinned message? I must have clicked the wrong one or it was going crazy on me. Trying to pin the right one here.
Yeah, you had it pinned when I was in there. Hey, Mike.
Now it's pinned right. So are we feeling better?
Yeah, I'm not all groggy on drugs tonight.
Yeah.
So,
Oh my. Hey Rob. Oh my. I gotta get my paperwork all done here so I can see who's who. So what's happening with anything?
oh, it's smoky and hot and everything else down here.
Yeah, it was really smoky. I thought it looked like fog out there this morning, but it was all the smoke. But you know, I didn't. Some news media makes a big deal out of it, but I just like I don't know what the big problem is. I um, it doesn't smell to me.
It smells kind of like burnt plastic down here.
Well, I've heard that somebody say that tonight or somewhere. Hey, Ann, but I haven't smelt that I know of.
Yeah, I was talking to Will yesterday, and I talked to him again tonight, and he said it smells like burnt plastic up there too. So,
Right?
I don't know what they're burning up there in Canada, but they're burning something that stinks.
They showed a video of it. It's like there's this river or whatever, and here's this huge white cloud of smoke, and then it's orangey red in behind it,
Yeah.
and all that. I want to say to hi to Hell's Half Acre Apiary. You know, what's your first? Where are you at, Half Acre? I usually have everybody written down. I was trying to find and see if I had wrote you down, but you know. But anyway, well, I know that you've been in the medical facility and everything. It had turned out on the positive for you, which that's great.
Yep, it did. So didn't sleep at all last night. I
Hey,
was
Mark,
up all night.
that was probably the medication and everything.
Yep, slept an hour today. So I'm pretty tired.
Well, between medication, maybe some pain meds, wearing off, that kind of thing.
Yep. It's got a lot to do with it, I think.
So, what did Will have to say? Anything exciting?
Oh, excuse me. He said it was, he's been working 12-hour days this week
Oh yeah.
because they had a short week last week. And he said he gets home from work, he's done.
Yeah, it's been quite hot. Now, yesterday here, the humidity was really high, and everything on me was totally soaked.
Yeah.
And actually, I got in the house, and I'm sitting in a chair about half asleep. I just went back in the room and laid down. And it was like 7 o'clock or whatever.
Yeah. I had every intention of getting on with
Hey, Billy,
Heath last night and didn't do it because I was sitting in the chair and just forgot about time. So
right? I went on the late night show. Todd had an emergency, and then turned out to be nothing,
yeah,
and all that stuff. So we had a good time talking to Big Mike up there in New Hampshire, Massachusetts, something like that up there.
yeah. So Clay, I don't know what Becky told you, but I got 2 drains. One of them's one of them is a wound vac, and the other one's a suction drain. So I don't know how many stitches they put in. He didn't tell me any of that. So they cut me pretty good. So
Well, they had to take a grinder to you, didn't they?
yeah, they ground off some of them lumps and bumps.
A lot of bone or calcium deposits or whatever you want to call them.
Yeah.
Hey, Hilo. Good to see you. And there's Phil, the traveling bee man.
Yeah, the contrarian.
Right. So what, Bill? What part did they grind off? I'm confused here.
I had work done on my elbow. I had a real big knot on my elbow, and then 3 little ones. So they had to take them out, and they cut me from just above my elbow up towards my tricep, down to about middle way of my lower arm.
So I guess you can't bend your arm for a little while, right?
Nope. You're safe now, Phil.
So what do you?
I always stay at least. I stay at least an arm's distance from you all at all times, Bill.
Yep.
I don't get in that. In scouts, we call that the blood circle. You know, you can reach out. That's what we call that. I stay out of your blood circle.
Yep.
Yep. Hey, Rick. So you're in a sling, I guess you would say, or not?
No, I've got a cheese block. It's a big yellow foam block with holes in it.
Yeah.
And it's narrow one end and wide on the other. And they call it a cheese block. So that's what my arm rests.
Sort of like a splint, you might say.
No, it's a foam block. I don't know if you can see part of it right there.
Yeah.
And it just sits on the arm of the chair, and I rest my arm on it. I'm not in a sling or anything. I've got it. It's all wrapped up. It's like a brace down there. Feels like a soft cast is what it feels like.
Mm-hmm.
So I can't bend my arm.
Yeah. Yeah, Billy Lee. I think I've got some hives out there right now that I'm pretty sure they're Italian, and they're definitely, I got a nuke out there. I know it's an Italian. It just keeps getting bigger and bigger. I got to get in there. I pulled the honey off of it and spin the honey out of it. And I gave him another box of foundation to work on. And once this weather kind of settles in a little bit, I'm going to try to get out there and maybe pull some brood out of there and equalize it out a little bit. Hey, Brian.
Yeah, the other day before surgery, we were down there in the bee yard putting wet supers back on the 8 frames, and we opened up a couple of the 10 frames, and I've got pictures of them. They're monsters.
Yeah, was that the ones I seen?
Yeah, they're monsters.
I mean, they look like to me they had honey packed in there, and they
Oh yeah,
they needed a couple boxes.
yeah. We put 1 box on them. So
Yeah.
yeah, Bill Lee, I am kind of falling apart right now. I'm telling you. But I figure if I get it all fixed at one time, I'll be good to go next year, next spring. You know,
$6 million man.
shit, that's about what I feel like too. You can pay part of my medical bills if you want to, Phil.
Well, I have to say one thing. I mean, they've got stuff like, repaired knees and hips and joints, and there's a lot of things that they can do for you today that it's amazing.
Oh wow, I hear thunder.
You got thunder?
Yeah,
Oh, that's good.
and it looks like it's raining.
Let me have to look at the map and see.
Yeah.
And let's see. Yeah, it seems to be down around Harrisonburg. And there's a little something
Yeah.
right south of you around Luray.
Yep. It's between Harrisonburg and me, and it's coming this way. Yep. Gonna get some rain.
Finally get a little something, maybe, hopefully.
Yeah, I hope so. We need it bad.
I know everything up here is starting to get a yellow tinge to the grass.
Yeah, you walk in the grass here, it crunches underneath your feet. Bill Lee wants to know how your mother's doing, Phil.
Well, I'm going to find out in about, I really won't know anything tonight. I'll find out tomorrow. I haven't seen her in a month. Looking
Yeah.
forward to seeing her. We went on vacation. And then the next week I had farmer's market. So, where I couldn't get over to see her on my 2-week rotation.
So where did we go on vacation at?
We went to Sevierville, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
My father-in-law lives there.
That's right. Has it changed much in the last 2 or 3 years?
I wouldn't say it's changed very much. It's kind of the same old Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg and all that. It's kind of the same old tourist trap.
Yeah.
We did go up. My kids always go to Dollywood, Splash Country. I call it kids, but now they're young adults, I guess. But they did all that stuff, and I did tube down the river from we actually, because kind of all of my wife's family was there, almost all of them. So there really wasn't enough room for us to stay at her dad's house, so we rented a cabin that was down the river. And my daughter and I tubed from his house to our cabin. It took like 3 hours or something. It was kind of fun. But that's about that. And I did go. We went to the Smoky Mountains National Park.
Yeah.
One day. That was fun. We drove to Cades Cove and drove through Cades Cove. Real pretty place.
Did you get into Gatlinburg?
We drove through it going into the park, and then we dropped my son and his girlfriend off there. And then somebody went back and picked them up later, and they did all that stuff. I mean, literally driving through Gatlinburg, there's more
So
people walking around in Gatlinburg than are walking around Times Square in New York.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, that's all I want to see at Gatlinburg is driving through it and seeing and avoiding running off over the people that are just walking out in front of me.
yeah, I didn't really.
Yeah.
I don't see a whole lot there as far as the Main Street area.
It's well, there's a lot there, but it's not nothing that interests me. They got tons of crap, like homemade candies. Oh my gosh, they got a little bit of everything. They have Ripley's, believe it or not, they got aquariums. It's quite a tourist trap.
Yeah, it is.
Got zip lines.
Yeah, stuff I ain't gonna do.
One of those sky trolley type cars. All that stuff. My father-in-law and my father-in-law and mother-in-law, they went to the park with us, and he said you want to avoid part of downtown, and he said turn here. So we turned, and I tell you what, we drove up and back down the damnedest hill I've ever been on in a car. It was like it had to be like a San Francisco street. It was amazing. I think it's like a thrill ride.
Yeah, we were up there, and there is a back way out of that place. We found it somehow. And actually, when you go through the main drag through all the Sevierville and everything, on the other side of the hill or whatever, there's another road you come around the back where you avoid all them red lights and everything.
Yeah.
It's where all the non-touristy things are.
Right.
Where let's say a car dealership is, or a school or something like that. Yeah, that's like, I don't know why my camera's so damn fuzzy.
Wore it out, Charlie.
I don't know.
Oh, I did play putt-putt golf. I beat the kids at putt-putt golf.
You did?
Somebody on here said something about the dead bee seller. I was telling that story on somebody's chat last night, I guess. The lady asked me if she could buy some dead bees from me. It's kind of funny. It took me for, we get a lot of weird questions, but that's the first time I've gotten that one.
Yeah.
If I have some, I told her I'd collect them and give them to her. If I have a dead out where they have, I don't. Most of the time when I have a dead out, the bees are long gone.
What did she want to use them for?
I think she was making some kind of a tincture or something. I don't know. She came to my door and bought a jar of honey and asked me about that. Then as she was leaving, I think she seemed to have some kind of a African accent somewhere in Africa. As she was leaving, she asked me if she could pick some off my rosemary bush, and I was like, sure. And on the next flower bed over, I got a bunch of mint basil, and I said, you can pick all that you want to, because it's out of control. Maybe that's probably into the natural kind of stuff, but I've been thinking about doing a video. I've got the 3 little small hives in my backyard. I've been thinking about doing a video where I do OA vapor and check mite drops like every day and count them and see how many fall the first day, second day, third day, and then the 4th day repeat it. See how long it takes to drop the mites down from however many are in there to less than 10. I've done that before, and it generally takes me 3 treatments to get half the hives below 10 mites dropping. And then every treatment after that, half of what's left drops. Of course, with 3, I had 1 or 2 probably after 3 treatments. But when I do that to 10 colonies, sometimes it takes me 8 or 10 treatments to get one, the one that have a lot of mite drop down. But I was thinking about doing that, but then I started thinking everybody will always ask me what the mites wash at. I never do wash them. I got the kit, but I just don't wash them. But I was thinking about doing a mite wash on each one at the beginning, and then after they're all treated, give it like 2 weeks and do a mite wash again. Just something that's kind of interesting to observe. And I was thinking, well, if I wash those mites at the beginning, that would be 3 half cups of bees. I could they'd have out. They'd be an alcohol. Like you have to use alcohol. I'd throw them in the refrigerator and give them to her if she would want them dead that way. Because you guys know when bees die, they start to rot.
Yeah.
You'd want to either kill live bees or I don't know. And if they died from poisoning, well, I want to put them in a tincture. I don't think I would.
Hey, Joe.
Hey, Joe.
Yeah, let's see. I threw the apricot in Saturday, and it was pretty much gone by Monday evening. So hopefully tomorrow it's going to be around the 80, mid 80s at least, maybe 88, something like that. And it's supposed to be in the 80s for the next 3 or 4 days. I'm figuring on going ahead and dropping another dose of apricot in. So we'll see what happens there.
Yeah, if I can talk the wife into getting in the bee yard tomorrow, we're going to go down and treat our bees tomorrow.
I figured it's low enough that, and I talked to being a farmer down there at Nobby, and they said you didn't have to close the bottom screen up.
I would.
So, I mean, entry reducers and stuff like that are all out for ventilation. And I put that little short out yesterday with them being hot. But some of them were hot, some of them weren't. But they all got juice on them. I'm going to, go back and make sure they all got another quart of sugar water on them. They probably, it's been 7 days. They sucked that down.
I might wait till Monday to put mine on.
Yeah, I know. I seen Sunday looks a little bit better for here locally. I'll
at least get treatment on the pallet bees Sunday or Monday. I got to wait for the wife to be here to do the rest of it.
It looks like maybe Sunday I'll do it because it says here the local thing. Tomorrow should be in the highs of 92, and then it's 86, 87, 87, 86, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Hey, that's sweater weather in Texas.
Sweater weather?
Yeah. We've actually had a break the last 3 or 4 days. Thank goodness. My air conditioner went out. It's repaired now, but luckily it was only getting to like 90 or so.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 86 here Sunday, Monday 85, and then 83 up through Friday, and then it's supposed to be 84 and 85 over the weekend. And then the following week it's supposed to cool off again.
I might just wait until, like 6 o'clock tomorrow evening because it'll be around the 70-degree mark. And that'll be, and then it'll be highs of in the mid 80s, 85 more or less for the next several days. Hit them another 35 grams later in the day.
Yeah, I'll drop 30 grams on them next week. No problem, 30 grams.
Well, I'm doing 35, 35, and then 30, and I'm done. I know a lot of
Yeah.
folks say they want to do 30 days worth it. And I'm like, well, if I'm going to do 30 days, I might as well just put 25 grams on every week and be done with it. Don't worry
And be
about it.
done with it. Well, if you can get it done in 3 weeks, we'll get it done in 3 weeks.
Well, they say 7 to 10 days. So, I mean, yeah, I understand the brood thing, but it's more of a topical or thoracic mite treatment, I'd say.
Yeah, it is.
And I'm going to get it done in 3 weeks so she can get back to laying full blast and get me a nice brood or a nice big nest going into the winter.
Yep.
We'll see what happens tomorrow and all that, but see how the day is. See what the weather is, temperature is.
Yeah.
We'll see. See whether the help shows up. Not that I need it.
Yeah, but it's always nice to have help.
Yeah, the last time he was there, he was putting out, stuff at each hive for me, which he did a lot of leg work, I guess you would call it, and that kind of stuff. So yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. It says
Ian had a great day today, he said.
you say Ian.
Yeah, he's
Oh, there he is. Hey, Ian. So, Ian, how is the honey house? We haven't had any updates on that. I presume they got the walls up and maybe a roof up.
The last thing I saw on it, he had his doors cut in. Did he ever get any of the rest of it up?
Well, they had the walls, and I think the floor might have been poured. And I think they had doors there, but they were covered up, I'll say.
Yeah, they were covered up.
All that. But all right, so they're just showing up now.
Cool.
I'm going to start building. That's cool.
Just in time.
Pretty close.
Yep.
And I believe that's mostly going to be storage and stuff. Yeah. So that's my game plan. Hopefully get that product on this weekend for sure. And then hit them again the following weekend with 30 grams. And then I'm done. And I'll be done. The product will be basically done by the 1st of August. And then they got all of August, probably until around the second week of September is when Labor Day is.
Yeah.
Yep. Odell, it's Philip the traveling beekeeper.
Yeah. On the road again.
So you say Will's basically working all day long at the day job and then coming home and crashing, huh?
Yeah, they worked 5/12s this week because they had a short week last week. So he catches us on the replays.
Yeah. No, I mean, the last time I talked to him, he was washing buckets, cleaning them,
Yep.
getting ready to feed.
Yep.
and all that.
I got to get the rest of my buckets out too.
Yeah. Hanley's going to try to get a fall flow. Well, I don't know. Around here, we don't get that, Hanley.
No.
We'll get some goldenrod, and mostly that's just going to be for pollen. You'll see them bringing that in for pollen, and maybe they do bring a little itty bitty amount of nectar in, but not much.
Yeah.
And then here, July and August is pretty much a kind of a dearth type.
And I haven't seen many lanternflies around here this year either.
No, I mean around here, there were some folks talking about they had seen the nips around. I have not seen any of that.
I've seen a few of the babies, but not many. And I talked to Ryan Williamson today, and he said he hasn't seen a lot of it either.
No, I
like
think
he did last year.
Right. Around here, the lanternfly population kind of dwindled off about 2 years ago. And all that, where they were getting a lanternfly honey flow, and I was leaving it in there for them.
Yeah.
But,
it's got to be good for you because it tastes like cough syrup, sort of. Pretty nasty. Kind of got a smoky. Maybe all of them have that flavor in their can, that smoky flavor.
I'll tell you what, I'll send you a quart jar of it to eat.
No, I got some. Somebody gave me some at Nobby, and it's not good.
oh, it's quality medical honey there.
That's what I'm saying. It's got to be good for you. It tastes like medicine.
So, Dino, you say you call it off because of the smoke or something? You work inside the house anyway, as far as I know.
Yeah, Mike, Minnesota Mike sent me a picture from his, I don't know if it was his back porch or a dock or something at his cabin, and boy, it was smoking up there. Out at the Boundary Waters, Minnesota.
You know, the sky here is basically gray.
Yeah.
But for me, it doesn't smell like anything.
His looked like a low-hanging fog where he was.
Yeah, I really think our dearth has already started here.
Yeah, I think ours is starting. It's just starting. I put out some remnants of honey and whatnot for the bees to clean up, and it took them a little while to get on it, but they got on it. They didn't ignore it like before. Now, I do think there's a little difference. The stuff I put out earlier, like a week or so before, was remnants of fall honey, and what I put out just recently was the stuff when I went on your show, Bill, I was extracting. It was like the strainer and the buckets, stuff like that.
Yeah.
They got on that pretty good, but I think they probably sense that fresh stuff. They'll go for that stuff even if they are still bringing a little bit in.
Yeah.
What's happening, Ian? Good to see you.
Evening, guys. Just walking through the honey house. Stop in here.
You said you had a good day today. What went down with you?
Boy, they're bringing nectar in like crazy today, filling boxes. Right, we have all the boxes out now, and we're having a string of nice weather now. We just finished another dump of rain, but it's just like a greenhouse right now. The bees are flying and the crop is blooming, and we're going into the colonies just to see what's going on. And I have them stacked 5 or 6 high now. and they're filling right to the top. So I think we're going to be close to a week away from harvest, maybe 10 days. We'll see how it dries down. But things are looking all right. As long as
What
they don't
about,
swarm
what,
on me, that
yeah.
I think I have some swarming going on, but I'm walking that line. So I might lose a few to swarms, but they're filling the boxes, so that's good.
How you doing with that spray business? With that
Oh,
canola spray?
yeah, I battled that. So around Miami is below the escarpment, so the crop's always a little bit earlier than up where the farm is on top of the escarpment. Um, Down around Miami, everybody sprayed all day long. It was, yeah. So I don't think had seen any colony death due to that. Just maybe I lost some foragers, which is the best I think I can get from that. But up on top of the escarpment around the farm, the crop's just starting to bloom here, and the weevil's not as bad up in this area. Like my brother went out and put fungicide on, and we were sweeping the field, and we couldn't find any, so we didn't spray, and neither did the neighbor. So I think either it's run its course, or I don't know, they just disappeared. I'm not sure. So
So obviously that's some new pest that's come into your area.
yeah, it came in last year. Nobody really was ready. We didn't notice it until it's too late. It took some crop from us last year, so the farmers are a little bit trigger happy. And then we're starting to sweep thresholds. A lot of guys sprayed, and with the wet weather we had, nobody could get on with the high clears, so it was all done by the aerial applicators, and they
Yeah,
they were so backlogged they had to spray all day long. So I'm sure I had some population hit. Yeah.
yeah. I seen the crop dusters behind you there. Some of those really long nosed airplanes that's got those really. I forget how many cylinders are in them. I've looked at
Yeah.
them. They got a
Yeah,
real long
they've
motor.
updated the aircraft. They're not as noisy as they used to be. They're silent now. They're almost like these silent killers just flying around. I'd have like three of those damn things flying at once, and they'd be every side of me. And in my beard here, we're working away, and there's like these objects of death flying all over the place. But
So when they're spraying, are they like with a couple feet above the crop? You know, you're not so they don't have so much up in the air as far
yeah,
as
those guys are absolutely nuts, crazy, crazy. Yeah,
they
we
like
didn't have to
typically
hire them to spray our field, but we were able to get on with the ground, the high clear. But I think he put some fungicide on a wheat crop that was a little bit too wet that we couldn't travel. The guys are making money who are flying the airplanes this year. That's for sure.
yeah. There's a
Yeah.
farm up,
Yeah.
I guess about I don't know 10 miles up the road, and I went up to drop his truck off at a repair shop, and he had a helicopter in there. I think
Oh.
spraying fungicide for the corn crop. And
Okay.
corn's up pretty high, so he had a helicopter in there doing that.
Oh yeah.
And that was like we had a piece of ground here that it's a long field along the road, and on the opposite side is a development, with houses across there. And this one farmer, he was renting it and he put corn in. Well, he hired one of those airplanes like you had up there, and that thing come flying down through there, and 20, about 30 feet from the house, as you might say, maybe 50 feet at the most. And they would zoom down through there, and every front door went wide open, and everybody's out on the porch. What is going on here?
Oh boy.
Because that's kind of an unusual thing to have around here on the
Yeah.
eastern shore of Maryland, where it's sort of like fields are like, you can have a 500-acre field down there where they're used to that kind of stuff down there because it's so big and all that. But that was funny. And then somebody said, well, there's a guy flying around. I said, they're crop dusting. I said, that's what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, he might get a few complaints over that, but the kids would sure be excited.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm sure.
This crazy son of a gun.
Every front door went wide open, and here all these people are out in front of our houses. What's going on?
Yeah.
Breathing in the crop dust.
Those crop dusters are just terrible for drift. I just shudder when I see those things flying. But the guys that spray around here, like we hire them too, and they're pretty careful. When they see like when they're spraying beside a yard, they'll come down. Like when they desiccated our sunflowers, they come down and they let out a fog, not a spray at the first time, just to see where the drift was going. So, we're spraying and there's a yard on the one side. So he made a pass and he let out this fog, and the fog drifted into the yard. So he kept the spraying to the far end of the field, and he come back the next day when the wind had changed, and then he sprayed the rest of the field. So they're pretty careful. And he did the same by my bee yard. He let out a fog right by my bee yard just to see where it was drifting, and it wasn't drifting into the yard. So then he went down and put down the desiccant. So they're pretty close. They're trying their best, I guess, those guys, but they're being yelled at by farmers, and they have a job to do. So sometimes they have to spray in the middle of the day. It's too bad, it's not good for the bees.
Well, of course, our fields are not as big as yours. I mean, you're talking about like half sections and stuff like that. Where
Yeah.
like a half section to us is a whole farm,
Okay.
which might be 300 and some acres. That's pretty much a whole big farm, around here.
Yeah.
But around here, the like our place, the mill up here, which has, your fertilizers and all your different stuff that you can buy, all your supplies, they have drones.
Oh, yeah.
And they got, with like 4-foot wingspans on all four corners of the propellers. And they got a truck with like a landing pad on top of it where it can land on there. And then they got, I guess, tanks of chemical or whatever that they fill that thing up. And I think what they do is they use GPS and they map out the field, and that thing automatically goes back and forth. I don't know I don't think it's got, I guess it's got booms that it's spraying with.
Yeah, I think it's 3 acres per load they go at. The guy up here that does it, he has 3 of them. So 2 is flying and 1's filling, then 2 come back. He fills. He's always shifting them back and forth all the time.
Yeah.
It might be the future, it uses a lot less fuel than a big high clear. And these big high clears are heavy and they make ruts. And this, you can maneuver those into places maybe you can't get an airplane, and who knows, The coverage isn't that good yet. It's very not uniform. Just the way that drives the product down, it kind of drives down like this. So it does penetrate into the canopy, but not a lot of product going down, and it does show inconsistency. So I think the technology needs to improve a little bit before maybe we adopt something like that. But it's there. It's coming. It's going to be a lot cheaper than buying these high clears. Like we had a salesman come in and try to sell us a brand new John Deere sprayer. It was 155 feet or something wide, some ridiculous width, way too wide for our fields because we have too many hills, and gullies and such. But that thing was like $950,000.
Jeez.
Yeah, and that's Canadian, so I'm not sure what that's for you guys. It'd be maybe over half.
I mean,
$1 million,
usually the sprayer rigs that they got around here, which is like you say, a John Deere or something like that, I think that their boom width is about 100 feet or so, 90 some to 100 feet.
Yeah, ours is 120, and that's wide enough. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I was wondering, Ian, because I grew up around a lot of farming, especially cotton farming. And when you said you call a high clear, we always call that a high boy. But
oh yeah.
They would. I mean, that canola is drilled in, isn't it? It's not in rows. So I guess you just run over.
Yeah, we sacrifice the path of the sprayer. It goes over for herbicide, fungicide, and desiccation. So we just write off the tracks.
Yeah. But I thought it was odd, but when you said it was 120 feet, I said, well, you're not losing that much. our high boys would cover like 12, 15 rows, it wasn't that much big a deal.
Yeah, they can stretch right across there.
Yeah, and all the crop dusters, most of them, when I was early growing up, they were on those bi-wings, and then they went to the modern ones. But yeah, those guys are nuts. Most of the fields have a power line at the end of them, and they drop. It looks like their wheels almost clip those power lines going in. When they come out, they go straight up in the air and roll that plane up and come back. It's wild to watch them. You're not used to seeing it.
Yeah,
nobody sells them life insurance. Those guys are without life insurance for a reason.
where they along the roadway where they're coming, and it was a long field, and it's coming towards the major state highway. And like you said, they just went like straight up with that airplane and go up and then, circle around and back down and all
Yeah.
that stuff. But,
Well, this guy is watching today at the end of the field. He goes straight up and stall the plane like
yeah.
that, and then you drop right back down and into the field. I think they're rigged up with GPS all the same, so they can kind of do a racetrack around the field. So it's a lot more efficient than what it used to be, where you had to go back and forth like this. They can kind of go like this now. But at any rate, there's still like the fields we have ravine in that. So there's a little field here and a little field there, and he comes down. Boom, 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 and up and away he goes. Like it's fun to watch.
Well,
Anyway.
you were saying a deficit. So do you spray stuff like that to kill your to get it so you can harvest it quicker? Because
Yeah,
short
with
season?
for the sunflowers, we hurry it up with the desiccant. Yeah, it just I'm not even sure what it is. It's not Roundup. It's some kind of a
It's not around. I don't,
killing agent.
Yeah, I mean,
supposedly has a short half life, right?
Yeah,
It's funny that the terminology you guys use. To us, that's called defoliant, desiccant. But I'm sure it's the same thing.
yeah, it'd be the same thing. Yeah, and it just kills the sunflowers outright. We do the same with the canola and the wheat now. There's a lot of debate about that, but we use it to help dry down the crop and harvest it without swathing. So it works out all right.
Yeah, you have to do that with cotton, or you end up with too much trash in your crop.
Yeah, same with sunflowers too. Otherwise, we're waiting and waiting and waiting, and then we get so much weather loss. So we hurry it up a little bit by desiccating it. It goes for birdseed mostly anyway.
all right, that was one thing I wanted to ask you. In past you had your videos when you were doing canola, combining, and you had swathed it, and and of course the rows were blowing because of the wind or whatever.
Yeah,
And you're bringing them up on that pickup on the front of the combine, and I'm like, I was telling you, remember I talked about there was a guy in Tennessee down here who never planted canola, and he got his canola crop, planted, and it grew and everything. And he had a draper head, and he was checking, how much lossage out of the back of the combine. And he said, there's a pathway here. Well, where them drapers are coming in, it drops down on that next little, feed belt that goes into the head of the up the throat into the combine. And there was a hole right in there where that draper head's going around that shaft, and it's kind of like, and he was complaining about those seeds are so tiny that they were falling out of the heads and stuff like that, trying to get it in the combine without shattering, the seeds out of the heads. Do you have that problem because you make the defecate it sooner so it doesn't get out of the heads? I mean, I'm looking at that swather. That's got to let all that seed out.
yeah. Well, before we use they call it a pod shatter variety now, so the pods are really tough, so they don't shatter anymore, and that gets us away from swathing, where we had with the older varieties, you had swath when it was green, so it didn't shatter. So just before it matured, just before it dried down, you swath it into a row and you pack it down into this row before it gets really brittle. Then we come in with the combine, pick it up if the wind doesn't take it across the field, but we pick it up and combine it. But now we have this pod shatter variety or varieties that allows the crop to be able to stand and mature, and we can handle it quite rough actually without it shattering. So then it allows us to bring it into the combine, and then the thrashing happens on the cylinder inside. So we don't have the same trouble as that. Yeah.
Yeah, because then he was also talking about on the side of the head, somebody said that you needed some kind of a cutting.
Yeah, it bunches up on the side and plugs
like that, or because he said that just brushing it with that the head on that snout, it would shake some of it out. So he must not have the same variety.
He probably has an older variety. Yeah, these new the new technologies coming in with the breeding is helping us out quite a bit, because we used to swath, and then you seen, like you're talking about, the canola blowing across the field. Oh, just loss. We're seeing loss all the time. Well, loss from the wind. It seems to be windy all the time now, so it allows us to have the crop stand and not blow away on us. It just stand. We can come in and harvest it. It's a lot easier. We're saving more crop that way for sure. Yeah.
All right, so that's a different variety of canola that doesn't shatter.
Yeah. That's what that is.
I'll type that into him and see what to give him. Tell him.
So is it truly a different type of canola, Ian, or are you just cutting it a little bit sooner?
It's a different variety. It has the same oil content as the older varieties, but it's just a different type of breeding, which has bred the head not to be as brittle. Yeah,
Okay.
it's tougher. So you really have to be more aggressive with the harvesting part of it, like to thrash the seeds out. So we have to be careful as the crop is maybe a little bit green. If we have to be more aggressive, or if it's as the day goes on and it's maybe a little bit more brittle, we have to adjust the combine maybe a little bit more because of that. But it's helped us out anyways from avoiding all this wind damage that we seem to encounter. Every time we swath the field, goes down, we have like 5 days, and it's inevitable. There's a wind that comes by and it just blows it across the field.
Mm.
So just one of those things that's helping us out a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was I'll have to tell him.
I hate canola. Like, growing canola, it's so finicky trying to get it up. There's a little seed and the bugs eat it, and then the rain pounds it. And then you finally get it up and going, and then you got to spray fungicide on it because there's disease in it. And then, you battle with it through harvest. The only thing I like about canola is it gives off a nice honey. We sell it premium. Right now, my boxes are filling for it. So that's the silver lining, I guess.
Well, at least you don't have to worry about slugs up there.
No slugs, no.
Yeah.
Well, what about sunflower honey? Is that really nice stuff too, or not?
Yeah, it's a golden honey when you can get it. I have two half sections and a quarter that we grew this year. And I have enough bees on it. We should get good pollination on it. I'm just hoping that now that we have the moisture, it looks like we're going to be getting heat. I hope, this summer we need some heat. They might produce, it's just starting to bud. So it's hard to say. Well, as soon as the canola is done, I bet you the sunflower is right in. Yeah. It's a golden honey. It's a little bit more of a taste to it, I would say. The corn, like Dad was out in the corn today, and it was over his head. It was at least a foot over his head. It's growing. It's just like a greenhouse up here this year.
Yeah, because it's pretty high here as far as corn goes. We just haven't had a lot of rain.
Yeah, we've had severity come through. Guys are being hailed out and washed out up here. It's quite nerve wracking. We've missed it so far. Well, we had our turn. We had a really bad storm and tornado come through just after we sowed the whole crop, and the crop kind of struggled to get through that, but it come through all right. Everybody else has been getting pounded. There's another severe weather event happened just west of us last night. Hard time sleeping, but it is what it is. The nice weather comes through, this heat and then the moisture, and it drums up the severity. So, we get the perfect growing condition. Like the crop is just spectacular right now, but we run the risk every night of this severe storm coming and knocking it out. So we got a ways to go yet.
We got that Canadian smoke. Is that near you like it was last year, or is it more east?
The smoke is drifting. We have a lot of fire up in northern Manitoba, but it's drifting west of us. So like today is a little bit hazy this morning, and now it's cleared off a bit. Yesterday was a little more hazy, but we haven't seen a lot of smoke. Not like what you guys are seeing. No.
Obviously, no, whatever was it. Brad up there was within a mile or two of all that fire and everything last year. Yeah. And then there was a lot of kind of north, the way he gets described, it was like northwest of him. The fires were out in more of a timber country.
Yeah.
And they were burning a lot of small towns down and everything up there and all that.
We're not seeing the smoke like what they are seeing around the Great Lakes there. I guess it's pretty thick around that area. Yeah.
I guess. I don't know. I mean, it is what it is, but I don't know. It just seems like amazing to me that you got these fires and they're so big, and I'm thinking to myself, well, nature's kind of burnt, to me, I look at it a natural state of it, that they're burning
Yeah.
up all this fuel. And like I was down in the Carolinas where they had a lot of pine beetle damage where these bugs
Oh yeah.
got into the pine trees. Well, nature is killing all those insects and getting rid of all that diseased wood by, burning it up. So, and the
Yeah.
problem is human beings have built in the pathway of all these different things.
Well, that's exactly right. It's a natural thing. It's just it has to burn itself out, really, like the old expression. Yeah.
So,
Hey, Ian, I have a question for you. With your addition to your honey house or your bee operation, are you trying to also expand your number of hives? Is your daughter also coming? Is your daughter also coming on board to help out with that?
Yeah, I think right now we're just trying to catch up to where I am now. Like I'm counting my whiteboard. I have 45 yards going, so I have 1,800 colonies, and this facility isn't quite big enough for that. So this storage shed, this is basically a storage shed and a covered loading dock, a very expensive one, but it's going to allow me to free up this facility so we can move throughout the production period and not have to shift things like 3 or 4 times just to keep things going. So it's going to help me, maintain where I am, but we'll probably end up a couple of hundred hives more. She wants more hives. I told her to build her own hives. And she is. She darn right she is.
Hey,
Yeah.
the apple probably didn't fall far from the tree. She might be out there cutting trees down and milling the lumber too, like the old man.
Yeah, she was talking about that. She's starting her routine again. She is building boxes. She takes half-hour lunch and then she spends the other half-hour building boxes and then she's building frames. So she's going to be paying me back for those because I bought them from my supplier here. And she is selling some more honey. She's selling honey in a little jar, to
Right.
neighbors and to friends and that. And she's making a lot of money at that. So she's telling me in the truck today. She says, I'm selling that honey, and I'm just putting it in my pocket. What I should be doing, I should be taking that honey money, and I should be buying more equipment with it. So I said, well, that's exactly right. You dump it into equity and build that little operation of yours. So she's going to build something here just in the next couple of years. Yeah. She's at 5 hives now. She had a couple losses through winter, and then she made a split, and then she boosted one because one come through small, and that one's huge. Like, yeah, so I'm teaching her along the way all these tricks of the trade, right, to keep things going. And she made a little nuke. So there's a nuke by the honey house here. That's with a queen she reared, and it's just banging. It's just a terrific little queen. So she goes in there and she's like she's looking at it with admiration. That's just such a beautiful queen. She's saying, said, yeah, just wait till it starts bringing in the money. You'll like her even more.
And what's funny is I was at the market last weekend and I sell like different honey from like different yards. And I don't mix it together, and that's part of my sales pitch. And somebody was standing there talking to me about, does it crystallize? And I said, well, this one crystallizes in like 6 months, and this one crystallizes in like 8 months, this one in a year or whatever. And she goes, well, my brother, I think she said my brother or my cousin, I can't remember. She said he lives in such and such part of Canada, and she said his honey's like a yellowish color, and she said it's like a butter that you could just spread onto whatever you're putting it on. I said, I'll bet he lives close to some canola fields, and I'll bet she said he calls it whipped honey. I said, yeah, he probably gets a seed. And I started talking about the crystal size, and they got kind of bored with me and had to leave. But
that's like Doug. I mean, seems like a lot of his honey, he creams it all and sells it by the buckets and stuff.
Yeah, but actually, we do sell liquid honey. Like I say, I mean Bee Made. I sell all my honey to Bee Made. Like I'm part of the co-op, but they sell like a good part of it is creamed honey. It keeps so well, and the consumers love it.
Well,
I should have asked his name was Doug. That would have been a hoot.
Well, that seems to be in your country and your area, that creamed honey is the norm.
Yeah.
Where running honey down here is more the norm.
Yeah.
People.
Well, we have so much damn canola up here. I mean, it hardens. It turns into almost cement if you just leave it alone. It's just terrible. But if you take it off and you stir it up. Like it's just a matter of stirring, and you seed it with 10% creamed honey or
Yeah.
whatever, just to quicken it up. You stir it, and it just turns into this beautiful product, and we sell it all over the world. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I have some. I think mine is based on mesquite, which is similar in color to that. If you just let it get hard in there, it'll get really hard. But I always just warm it up and let it return because people around here don't. Although I did have a couple that were naturally crystallized, and I let people try it at the market, and everybody that tried it wanted to buy it that way. I'm like, well, I really don't have it that way. Maybe I need to let some of it naturally crystallize. It would sell fine.
Yeah, I got to keep that canola honey out of my brood nest. It just makes terrible winter feed. It just, if it's mixed with a bit of syrup, that's good. If it's mixed with a bit of alfalfa, it's good. But if it's straight canola honey, it turns to a rock, and the bees just have trouble with it. They all actually throw it out the front door. They're so pissed with it. They're like, "What are you giving me this shit for?" Like they can't process it because in the shed too is a little bit dry, so they have trouble accessing. Maybe if I watered them, they might be able to process a little bit easier. But I think it gives them indigestion, and it's not good. I can always tell when the bees are through the syrup and they're into the corners where typically that's where the canola honey will be. So in the corners, you can start seeing the grains on the bottom of the bottom boards. And usually it's in March, and then that's when the colonies start to poop on the front entrance because I think it gives them indigestion. So
It's probably got a lot of ash or something in there in the honey.
I'm not sure, or if it's just so hard to process. You know,
well, I mean, you were telling, I mean, you were stating, like you say, it gets kind of like hard, like cement, and I'm like, how do they actually even chew it?
Yeah, they had to dig at it. It's I'll have not big colonies. Big colonies can process it, but smaller colonies they'll actually starve on a frame of granulated canola honey. It's like, and it's hard like that. It's as hard as that computer. It's something else. That's why I manage in singles, just to keep that honey out. I push it all up and extract it, and then I give them syrup back. That's one of the reasons why I manage so intensively like this.
Well, then, so how? I mean, do you physically pull the frames out, or do you somehow manage them so they don't get it in there?
Yeah, it's the whole trick of managing in a single box. Like the cluster will naturally, if you have two boxes, it'll go between the two boxes like this, right? The cluster. But when I force her in the bottom with that excluder, that cluster goes this way, and that bottom box will mostly be brood. And there'll be some honey in there, some pollen, maybe on the outsides. But because of that, all the honey when it comes into the nest goes straight up into the honey boxes. So then there isn't a lot of reserve.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed. And like when I do my demery, where I have the two mediums, which represent your deep.
Yeah.
If you got a really good strong hive in there, like you say, they lay everything up with eggs, and you force that brood nest to push all the honey upstairs into those honey supers and stuff like that.
Yeah, make more honey that way, that's for sure. But you got to be quick on the feed when you pull that honey off, because they can starve within hours. Yeah.
Within hours.
Well, that might be exaggerating. Just I remember very clearly one time I was pulling honey, and big colonies. These are big bearding colonies, big tall boxes. Pulling off heavy. Everybody's tired, but I strip off and then I put feed pails right back on because I know that they're short on feed. There's no flow at the end of the season. There's nothing out there really. It's like a desert. So they're feeding on the syrup. I come back in a couple days just to check on them, and must have been a raccoon come and knocked a pail off the one colony, and they starved. They were starved, completely starved out. It was quite sad. Great big colony, like 9 frames of brood, just packed full of bees, starved right out because the pail was tipped off the side.
You're getting a trailer load of feed in. Has some corn syrup in there? Is that a processed feed, or what is that?
I don't buy corn syrup. A lot of guys do without any trouble, but it's just I think it's hard on the bees for winter. I don't know. There's a lot of debate about this. I just think it sours the bees and they don't winter as well. So I am strictly sucrose, 100% sucrose. It comes in a tanker load. Comes from Lethbridge. It's beet, sugar beet is what it is.
Yeah, that's actually they say it's better than the white cane sugar.
So do you add water to it again?
No, this stuff comes at 67% solid, and I just feed it heavy in the fall. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
If there's corn syrup that comes, sometimes I'll get it every once in a while, and I dilute it 10% just to help thin it down a little bit. But that's only with corn syrup.
Yeah, I mean, if that sucrose is not really thick, it'll spoil pretty fast.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to watch for sure. So I don't like to water it down too much.
so when you get a tanker load in like that, let's say you don't feed it all that fall, will it spoil over the winter time? Of course, it's cold, you know.
Yeah, it keeps over winter, but I won't keep it from spring to fall though. Keeping it over the summer period, it'll degrade. Yeah,
You really,
maybe it might be all right, but it's just I try not to keep any syrup over just because it's so hot and warm, and the condensation, and it's just more chances. And we want to feed bees going into winter. We want to feed them a very high quality sugar. So there's no use feeding them an old spoiled set of sugar. Then they're going to die, right? So I try to feed them everything as fresh as I can.
yeah, their gut's going to be messed up for sure.
Yeah, feeding like an older sugar after winter. I mean, in the spring, the bees are starting up and they're flying and they're growing, so they can void if they need to get rid of the nastiness if they had to. So it's not as big of a problem when they can fly, but when they're going into fall into winter, we've got to be very careful because these bees are inside for 5 months. Well, last year was 5.5 months. It's a long time.
Yeah.
Keep it very simple for them.
Seem like your cooling investment has paid off as far as I can see.
It probably, in regards to managing the consistency of the shed throughout the winter and into the spring, I've seen a benefit to my bees. Yeah. Kept a lot alive that might have been dead. Might have been a better winter to be outside because there's a lot of factors that are involved last winter, and Mother Nature only gave us like 4 or 5 days of flight from March till middle of May, and some of those flight days were in March, and we missed that because we were in the shed. We put them out in April, and I had like 2 days of flight, which kept my bees alive. Some guys missed it. It was a tough spring.
You're looking at, like you say, flight days where they can cleanse themselves out and get rid of
cleanse.
And do a cleanse to get rid of all that poison, I'll call it, that's been in there and all that. So, yeah, I mean, I'm just thinking like you're always fighting the temperature inside the building, to keep them at a certain, 4 degrees Celsius. And that seems to be possible now at more at ease, I'll say. And, but then something that I hadn't thought about is you getting them out. I would thought that would have gave you, well, I don't have to push to get out, but yet you do have to get them out because of cleansing flights.
Yeah, I got to get them out to fly, so we can't be too nonchalant, right? I held them through some warm weather in March when they could have been flying. Some guys put them out at that time because they couldn't keep their shed cool enough, and I don't think it helped them very much. Maybe they might have flew, but then they're outside, they're exposed to the elements, and they got cold again. It was a terrible cold spring.
Yeah, we had the same thing here. It was usually, our honey crop area is like April, May, and June, and April was just downright cold, and it was, I don't know, it was like mid-May until it really got nice, and then our honey, our trees that we have here bloomed about 2 weeks sooner than normal, and it was only 60 degrees Fahrenheit, and it's like they really fly nicely if at 75, and they didn't have the flight initiative out there to really grab a whole lot of honey, and everybody here. And then we had some freezes where it froze a lot of the tree blooms, even mostly up in the northern area and stuff like that. And there was some around here, but it killed like the locust bloom and the poplar bloom and maybe apple bloom or something like that. Yeah, I know that my friend Will, that Bill knows, he was taking bees down for pollination at a apple orchard down there, and there was this one night that it was going to get freeze, and their apples were ready to bloom, or they were blooming, and they actually had great big huge bonfires lit, and then they had two helicopters flying around in the air, stirring the air to get that heat and that smoke, the warm the air over top of this 1,000-acre farm to save that. One night would have devastated him for the whole next year.
It worked then?
It worked, from what I understand.
Yeah, it worked. It worked for some of them, but it didn't work for all of them.
Yeah.
It saved most. I'll say save. Let's say 3/4 of the crop, maybe.
Yeah, it saved some of the crop, but some of the crop that they didn't quite get out over top of to stir the air, it didn't save them.
Boy, that'd be costly. You'd think that'd cost a lot of money, but that's a lot of money sitting in that farm too. They need to protect it. Boy.
Yeah, but I mean, the helicopter that costs. That's got it. That fuel. They suck fuel.
Yeah, I imagine so. Yeah, that'd be neat to see.
But I don't know. I know when I was young down there in Florida, that they would have a frost like that, and they had they called them smudge pots, and they had like, I don't know what they burnt, whether it was oil, some type of oil that it basically put like a smoke plume out into the air. They had them all down through the orchards and everything. Some of them were permanent with pipelines feeding them, but I don't. Of course, they have a greening problem down there now, but
yeah, my grandpa used to light old musty bales to help the cattle with the bugs. The cattle would stand in this smudge and just to get away from the bugs. Yeah, yeah. Well, I'm gonna carry on. I thought I'd stop in and say hi. So,
yeah, good to see you, Ian.
Good seeing you, Ian.
Hey, Ian.
Good evening, guys.
All right. I was gonna, is he still there? I was gonna ask him one time it got dark down there, up there. It's getting dark here, but I bet it's gonna be an hour before it gets dark there.
I don't think it gets dark until about like 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah, maybe 2 hours. I know I went up there for a trip, and it was probably about this time of year. And yeah, it was like 10 o'clock before it got good dark. And it gets daylight a couple hours before too, so it gets some long sunlight hours this time of year.
So, yeah, that good to see you.
Tom asked me if I was driving to Canada. I hope not, Tom. On the wrong way.
Well, you had a lot of flooding down there in Texas, but that's all kind of south of you, isn't it?
Yeah, we haven't had a whole lot of flooding. We have had a good bit of rain here, finally. Too little, too late, but I did get that little bit of mesquite. When I was on Bill's show and I was doing the extraction, I told you I'm like 100 to 120, but I ended up getting 160 pounds. So a little bit better than I expected. I was expecting 150, but then as I got into it, I thought it'd be lower, and then it did kind of get after I drained all the cappings and everything, I hit 160. Hopefully, when I finally get a chance to go down to my farm, I hope I can pick up another 300 or so. Salvage a little something from the year.
Hey, Joseph. Well, hey, Tom and Melissa. Yeah, you got to get down there where Jeremy's at, wherever he's at, and get on that cotton down there where you can get a couple 1,000 pounds. And it'll be worth the trip, I guess.
Yeah, a lot of honey that's sold in Texas is made in like Minnesota or Wisconsin.
Oh yeah,
because a lot of the migratory guys have their bees up there right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, just so Thomas Robertson, where are you located at, and where was the barn fire at? Oh, up in Maine. Okay. I guess it was, of course, I don't know what kind of weather you got up there right now, whether it's good drying weather or not. We've had I don't know, we haven't really had a lot of barn. We've had some small buildings on fire that there was one here several weeks ago, and I happened to see where it was at yesterday, I think it was. Clay says he's spinning Mary's honey out tonight, Bill. Who's Mary?
Oh, it's a long story.
All right.
That's a very long story. She's a nice person. I'll say that. She's a nice person. She'd do anything in the world for you. But
What, she got 2 hives?
she had, I think at one time she had over 100 hives,
Yeah.
and she's moved to Florida 6 months out of the year. She's trying to get rid of some of them still, I think. Isn't she, Clay?
Was that the one lady that came to your place buying all them frames and boxes and stuff last year?
No, that was somebody else.
That was somebody else in the Carolinas or someplace.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she'll get tired of Florida.
No, her husband wanted to move down there full time, and she talked him into 6 months out of the year.
Well, 6 months in the wintertime is great.
Yeah, that's when they go down, isn't it?
That's right. It's fine then, but don't be down there in the middle of summer like right now.
Right. She's down to 34. I knew she was down, Clay. I didn't know how far.
You like lightning and rain? Go down there in August. It's every day.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I've been down there multiple times, and it's nice. And when we went,
It's nice to visit.
It's nice to visit. And it was always in the wintertime, and it felt great and all that.
Yeah.
But
I want to live there.
I don't want to live. I can't stand the humidity up here, let alone down there. All that stuff.
Yep.
So, you got some more honey to pull, and you don't keep too many bees in your backyard anymore, do you?
Who, me? Or Phil?
No, I've only got the 3 little small hives right now, and I probably don't need to have those there. One of them was about half full of honey, though. Another one had a couple of frames, but when I pulled the frame out, that had a lot of brood in it too. So if I really want that honey, I got to put a clean fluter on it, shake them all down. But I just put it back together. I just put all those frames from the farm. I put all those on those 3 hives. So any honey that I get will be like a mixture of all my yards. They're spoiled though because they get all the leftovers from everybody else.
Yep.
Well, we'll see. Yeah, I got.
Yeah, there's snowbirds here too, Grammy. They're the ones that cause all the problems.
I have a friend that told me once, he said that people from the north are like hemorrhoids. If they come down, if they come down and then go back up pretty soon, they're not too bad. But if they come down and stay, they're a pain in the ass.
Yep. You're right.
That's not necessarily true. There's some fine people. As long as they're not from the cities, most of the time they're really good folks.
Yeah. They can be, yeah.
Some of the nicest people I met were from New Jersey. A lot of them had to like work in Manhattan, but they didn't really like it there. They get home as fast as they could, drive across the bridge, and get away from that stuff.
Yeah, if you get to know them, I think they're pretty good people. Most of them, anyway.
See what Grammy said? Her husband's a damn Yankee, but I don't know. It sounds like maybe you captured him and held him hostage, Grammy. He got him a Southern Belle, and he said, "I'm never going back."
Yeah, exactly. He learned his lesson.
That's right.
I'm back.
Did you get any ice cream, Charlie?
Yeah, I did. I had to get something to drink. Left the barn doors open, or at least my son did. And I'm like, I thought he would stop by and close them. I have to go out there and see whether they're closed or not.
Uh-huh. Leave it to the youngin' to not close the door on the barn, right?
Lisa, we call them carpetbaggers down here.
On what? The New Jerseyans?
The Yankees that come
The
down
Yankees.
and we call them carpetbaggers.
Yep.
I'm not sure if I wouldn't want to go down there. Too hot for me.
Yeah, at least it sounds like they're taking our land and our women. But that's all right, Lisa. You're doing your part. You got to water down that Yankee blood a little bit. Somebody's
Yeah.
Yeah, Brandon's. It's getting close to ice cream time. Yep.
What kind of ice cream did you get tonight?
I got my drumsticks. That's it. Not really, because I'm below the Mason-Dixon line, so I'm in the South.
Lisa, the people down in Joey's area consider me a Yankee. Because I grew up in North Louisiana. Shreveport is Yankee country to them. Oh man, my mother's from the hollers around Nashville, and yeah, I know all about that straight line family tree.
Yeah, you got to branch it off every now and then.
Yeah, that's why she said she wasn't ever going to marry somebody from up there. My dad came up there, went to print school, and she latched on to him because He's like, that's far enough away. There shouldn't be any issues.
I was talking to a friend of a neighbor here today. His daughter and husband live in Nashville now, and they say that Nashville is just exploding. Hey, Sandy, with people coming in.
Yeah, I've got some of that inbreeding in my blood, but I don't think I got any issues from it.
You don't think so?
Just a few switches here and there.
So did they marry the out-of-state guys, Lisa, because they wanted to get out of your state?
The only thing that could make Lisa's story better is if her dad painted the shotgun white.
Wow.
California people, I don't know. Usually fruits and nuts.
We call that a leftist, Todd, a left coaster. I think he's an interloper, an infiltrator out there in California. Right, talking, but it's shrinking. Yeah, everybody's moving out.
I've been in Alabama, but I don't know. I guess it's like anything. It's whatever you're kind of used to as far as the land goes. It's like going to West Virginia. I mean, I like West Virginia is nice as far as being royal. It's super desolate, you might say, or royal, but there's just not any work there.
Yep.
It's a very poor state. And all.
Yeah, some of the most beautiful parts of the country are like that. West Virginia is a good example of that. But I'll tell you what, Arkansas, North Arkansas used to be like that, but man, Northwest Arkansas, they call that NWA, and that place is booming. All that Walmart money's in there. My goodness.
What's there?
Well, in Fayetteville and Bentonville, through there, all that Walmart money. Sam Walton's kids are developing that area. It's amazing, some of the stuff that's going on.
I mean, what's other than Walmart? What's people, go
Well, what's happened is his daughter, I mean, there's billions and billions of dollars. She is financing all kinds of research, like seed companies. They're hiring people they're not hiring people, but they're like giving office space out to people who have like technology ideas, and they're helping out seed companies. They're bringing in just some of the smartest people from all over the United States, and they're just rebuilding that whole area with super intelligent people. And I learned about most of it watching Peter Sanatello. He went all over Arkansas, but he spent a little time there. And yeah, they're partnering with the University of Arkansas. Yeah, it's you get a chance to watch that video. It's pretty darn impressive. They're building all kind of state-of-the-art buildings and campuses. They're basically taking all that money from the rest of the country and spending it on their home state.
Yeah, but what happens when it runs out?
Well, they still own Walmart, most of Walmart, Charlie.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is if they're subsidizing
And Walmart headquarters is based there, so that's thousands of people that just work for Walmart corporate.
yeah, they don't pay nothing though.
The corporate, oh yeah, absolutely, they pay very well. They spend money on that part of it. They don't pay their line workers. They pay their executives plenty good.
Yeah, that's something strange about Walmart. That they'll pay their executives, but they won't pay the people that are actually doing the work.
I think they play their managers very well because the managers have to put up with all that high turnover and all that stuff. But the Walmart stores, that's sort of becoming a shrinking part of their business. They're trying to compete with Amazon with their online stuff. You buy something online from Walmart, chances are it never touches their hands. It's just on their website. It gets shipped from some small mom and pop outfit under the Walmart name, just like Amazon does.
The problem with that is that, like, you can't depend on the darn packaging / postal services, whether it be UPS, the USPA, or whatever.
It's riskier for sure because they don't have their own delivery, I don't think, like Amazon does. And they don't have the warehouse system that Amazon does because, there's an Amazon warehouse in every population center almost all over the United States.
Yeah, DC, I'm not a homesteader reader. I'm not sure just what some people talk about being homestead. That could be anywhere from raising a garden to doing a garden and a bunch of goats and whatever.
Yeah, it could be.
So you've been to Alaska, huh? Yeah, I don't know. I see a lot of these guys that I watch them, they're baling hay or they're trying to farm and they got, I don't know, a bunch of stuff I got rid of 30 years ago. Trying to use a baler that should have went to the junkyard 50 years ago.
Well, I mean, that stuff is so darned expensive. You almost have to have a lot of hay fields or you have to hire yourself out to do other people. And then all of a sudden, now you're not homestead anymore. You're just a laborer with a piece of equipment. So that's like that in anything you do in life. The things you want to make money at, you got to work at and invest in too.
I don't think they're really making money at it. It's more of they're like baling their own little hay for their own farm, as far as being self-sufficient per se. I've seen one guy up there, he had a baler. I just watched the video. I don't know where they were located at, but they had like a little toy wagon and they had I don't know what it was. It wasn't much bigger than like a 9N Ford, which a 9N4 doesn't have any power at all. And I'm thinking to myself, you need a bigger tractor before somebody gets hurt, you know, and that kind of thing. And then there's a guy, I mean, we baled hay where we stood on the wagon and picked the bale as it's coming up out of the chute there, you know, the chute was always up there. And this guy's sitting on his knees trying to pull the bale out of the chute. And it's like, well, you haven't got your coupling pole and different things adjusted right here. Oh, that's
And then if he's got a kicker and all that stored energy releases at one time, he's going to get it right in the face.
well, he didn't. This wasn't definitely one a kicker thing. He didn't have a big enough machine, enough tractor. He had barely enough tractor to run everything. And I get
Really?
it's on flat ground, but
I've looked at the cost of baling equipment, and I don't. It's like raising your own bees so you can get your own honey. It's a lot cheaper just go buy it from somebody, you know.
that's right.
Yeah.
And it's the same, I think, with those with hay. It's a lot cheaper just to go buy hay bales from somebody that knows what
That
they're
was
doing.
some guy, I forget what he's got a little YouTube channel. He's out in West Virginia. And well, I'll have to say that what he's using is fine because there's so many hills. There's no flat ground out there. But he's got, like you were saying, Philip, he's got a rake and some type of a disc mower and is behind a Kubota overgrown lawnmower, as far as I'm concerned. You know, maybe a 35 horsepower little dinky thing. And he's got a round baler. And the round baler bales a round bale probably 16 inches in diameter and maybe 3 feet wide, if that. Maybe it's 2 foot wide. Little teeny round bales, you know, like the original round baler that Alice Chalmers, a roll of.
Yeah, the little roll baler.
Yeah, the old roll baler, you know,
Yeah.
back in the 40s or whatever it was.
Yeah.
It made a little teeny round bale. And
Yeah, it was about like that.
yeah. Well, that's what he's using out there from some foreign country. And it's like Phil says, oh, look at all this hay I got inside this little shed. You know, you might have, let's say, 150 little round bales in there. And I'm like, you know what? You can call my son up and he'll just deliver you the hay and you're done. You're far, you know, you got a round baler that's worth $4,000, and then you got a rake and you got a disc mower of some sort. It ain't a conditioner; it's just a mower, like a sickle bar mower.
Right.
And it's just like, you know,
And I'll guarantee you,
Conditioner.
if that baler breaks, it's probably going to cost as much as trying to fix a bigger. It's, you know,
Yeah, it probably will.
you're probably not going to get the parts for it.
Well,
Nobody's-
if it's a Kubota baler, you can go to the Kubota dealer to get the parts. Maybe.
Do they make those tiny balers at Kubota?
Yeah, they do.
Okay. The ones I've seen on the internet, those bales don't look like they're wrapped very tight. They look like there's a whole
They're
lot in.
not. They're not because they're twine wrapped.
yeah.
They're not net wrapped.
Of course, I guess you wouldn't be able to pick them up if they were wrapped too tight. You got to be able to sling them.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Lindsay, good to see you, man. Haven't seen you for a while. And then Mark here, you know, grew up with a 40 to 140 horsepower tractors. Now they got to be 350 horsepower. And
Yeah.
yeah, you're about right there. But you know something? We've discussed that. Me and my son discussed that. I got an Alice Chalmers tractor out here that's rated at 75 horsepower. And I can guarantee you that Alice Chalmers tractor, and it's a 6 or 8 cylinder diesel, and it'll blow smoke. It'll blow some smoke. And
Yep.
today's tractor, everybody's thinking about, oh, it's 150 horsepower. Well, it's rated at that, but that's not really I'll say the true horsepower of it because of EPA and everything. And
Right.
because of you'll lose 25 horse just because you got an automatic transmission inside that tractor. And
Yep.
then the rating of the PTO horsepower versus the motor horsepower is totally
It's
different.
different.
And it's the horsepower on the modern day tractor is I'll say developed through revolutions per minute versus torque.
Yep.
You know, like an old Farmall H. It was a 19 or 20 horsepower motor. But they put that power of that motor through the transmission and out to the outer wheels through bull gears.
Yep.
And it developed it had torque.
Yeah.
And all that stuff. So, you know, educating everybody on farming here tonight. Lindsay, how's it going with you down there? How's your bees and stuff?
Good night, Grant. Lisa.
Yeah, how's your
Hi,
shop?
Lisa.
Yeah, how's the shop going, Lisa? Hopefully it's doing good for you.
I was watching, I don't think I finished it. I was watching Lisa's honey extracting video earlier, or trying to watch it, listening for it. Sounds like you had a good year this year.
That's good. Yeah, Lindsay. Now, see, Philip, you were going on vacation. Lindsay's down there at
Is he in Sevierville?
he's down there in Sevierville.
Okay.
He's
Yeah,
at that.
looking at
I forget what the hotel he is working at.
Oh, he lives in Sevierville?
Huh?
Does he live there?
Yeah, he lives around there someplace.
I should have went and bugged him. Could have got my bee fix.
I don't have a honey drying, Brandon, but I want that stuff. Dan Ridge, Tennessee. Not sure just where that's at. But Brandon, I want the honey to be between 17 to 18. Well, I like it at 17 to 17 and a half.
Yeah. No more than 17 and a half.
I'll go up to 18, you know, just to get by. But
Hey,
he's 30 minutes from Sevierville.
okay, well, good. Lindsay, let's see, I don't know how you get me a message somehow, or I can give you my phone number, but my father-in-law wants to put bees on he wants some bees around because his apple tree bloomed and didn't produce this year. So he thinks bees are going to solve that. I was trying to figure out who closest I knew of was Tar Hill Randy, which is a few hours away. But you're definitely closer. So the only issue is, I think he has to have an electric fence because there's bears all over the place where he lives.
He said that his
Danville's
Danville's 35 minutes from North Carolina line. He works in Pigeon Forge. He works at that hotel that came and booked all them people into.
he's living within 10, 15 miles out. But I told him,
You're there. You're breaking up a little bit.
Yeah, he's broken up.
yeah, I'm out in the country. So yeah.
He's down there at the Hilton property down there, kind of halfway down, a couple miles, I don't know, several miles down below where the convention was.
Is he out by Dollywood? Yep.
Yeah, it's on down there. I forget what it was. The place that Cayman booked.
Yeah, that's up on the main drag coming into Sevierville.
Yeah.
No, it's down
My-
in there or down. I don't know
My-
where you.
Yeah, Pigeon
It's-
Forge is I'm not sure what the direction. I think south.
He's
Basically coming out of
9 miles towards the mountains on the left hand side there. It's one of them. It's a nice place that the hotel is. And all.
I bet he's really close.
I wish
The
they
name
would,
of the road, but yeah,
yeah. I wish they would.
yeah. My father-in-law lives closer
Yeah,
to Dollywood than he does downtown Sevierville.
Dollywood. It's on the main drag on the left hand side going towards the mountains. Yeah, the parkway. You got more darn traffic down there. You know what to do with it, seems like.
Yep.
Even in the wintertime. And all. He said he's got bears up where he's at. I know JJ Stevens
There's
up there.
bears all over that.
Then JJ up there in Maine, I think it is where he lives, he had a bear attack. It tore his hives all apart. Well, guys, I don't know. I think we kind of talked all we can talk tonight.
Yep.
Go ahead and shut the chat down, and we'll see y'all next Friday night at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard. And tomorrow night, I believe Joey will probably be on. So maybe we'll see you over there tomorrow. So we'll talk to you all later.
Y'all have a
Hi,
good
everyone.
night.